Long before the days of the GoPro, I was making a motorcycle ride across White's Pass in Washington State, and one of my fond memories riding a motorcycle is I can vividly see this Lincoln starting to pass me on the left-hand side in my rearview mirror. Just as the engine noise is really coming on strong, a fighter jet blows overhead. And for a moment in time, your brain is connecting that Lincoln and that fighter jet sound, going, what in the world is this? Just as quick as that fighter jet was gone, I look up and another fighter jet goes overhead, just grazing the top of that mountain pass. It was pretty amazing. During the same time period, I was laid off work and going back and forth east-west from Spokane to Sequim, working on our place that had been trashed by renters. I had the opportunity to take Cascade Highway 20 east back to Spokane, and the Highway Leavenworth 2 back to Spokane on another trip, as well as the typical I-90 thoroughfare over the mountain passes. All of those are great motorcycle roads. Getting back to the pictures, this was the first time I had ever ridden the stretch of Highway 550 up into Colorado, known as the $1 Million Highway, and it's no exaggeration to say I was in absolute awe at the sheer beauty and the curviness and excellent condition of the road. Even though we were getting rained on, did not dampen any of our spirits. While I do enjoy riding with friends, there are times when being out on a motorcycle solo can be just as pleasurable, and just time to absorb things in your own mind and just relax and enjoy the scenery that's flying by. So the ride that I chose to take turned into be some really spectacular roads on that trip, and quite frankly, I hardly saw a car one. There were very few cars. It was obviously not a very well beaten path compared to some other routes. I'm pretty sure just out of Grand Junction I headed north at Loma and went due north towards Rangeley, and then cut over to Dinosaur, Colorado, where we caught 40, and then continued to head west toward Vernal, Utah. Headed up one of the real curvy stretches of road. I wasn't going very fast. I had a big old mule deer run out in front of me. It was pretty darn cool. And continuing that trip up, like I say, there was a lot of loose gravel, but the roads themselves were in otherwise very good shape, and it was really fantastic scenery. After Vernal, I headed north towards the Flaming Gorge Reservoir, and unfortunately I showed up too late to really see anything lit up by the sun, but I got some beautiful shots of the bridge nonetheless. If memory serves me correctly, I woke up at about 5 a.m. and was on the road around 5:45 a.m. as the sun was starting to break. And by the afternoon, as I was hitting the Teton mountain range and Yellowstone National Park, I had come to realize I had made a grave error in judgment. It is absolutely undeniable that the scenery through the Teton mountain range and Yellowstone National Park is just spectacular. However, if you have to be at work the next day at 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, it is a bad route to take if you're trying to make tracks. On Google Maps, the shortest route shown from Green River, Wyoming to Sequim, Washington is right at 1,067 miles. Most iron butt riders will do that in about 12 hours. It took me 24 hours to do the same mileage. So this is not a route you want to take unless you have the leisurely time to do so. And if you do, you will enjoy absolutely every second of your trip. I thoroughly enjoyed the scenery on this stretch of road via two wheels on an open cockpit motorcycle. But to be quite honest, by the time I hit the Montana-Idaho border and it got dark, I was tired. By the time I hit the Tacoma Narrows Bridge onto the Olympic Peninsula, I was hallucinating and I was miserable. And I promised myself I would never do that to myself again.